Hello.
Hello, Mr. Smith. Bob Huff from London Borough of Barnet.
Oh, hi, how are you?
Yeah, not too bad. How about you?
Well, alright, I'm a bit I'm very, very under stress by this Lisa Mayer thing. You know, she's pushed me to the point of suicide earlier, and then I get this bundle from you guys, so it's just completely out of order. She needs a psychiatric assessment. You know, basically, I didn't answer the phone earlier because I was getting some advice from somebody who works in the CPS. And right now, I'm writing out my side of the story, and I'm going to go to the Ballards Lane Court, and I'm going to bring my own injunctions against Lisa. That's what I'm working on right now. It's about time people know the truth, because during the trial that she took me to HENDON Magistrates Court, she was videoed interfering with 4 of my witnesses, and nobody turned up. And although she got this injunction on me, that was because the CPS can't be seen to lose a case. I was found not guilty of all of the charges that I was charged with. And then what she's done, the moment after that trial, she had the old bill on me about 9 times in 11 days. And then it died down for a week. And then she's gone around there telling everybody that I'm a paedophile. And I've captured that on CCTV. And that's why I'm going to take that tape tomorrow to the court, and I'm going to show it to them, and we'll get her arrested. I'm not taking any more flack off of her, because she burned her fuse with the police in that injunction, because really, one more phone call to the police, and the same officer comes down, she gets arrested for harassing the police to harass me. That's what the police have told me. And then she stops. And then she's going around calling me a paedophile. All the neighbours have completely broken down communications. This is all through her. She's abusing my friendliness and openness to people. And then she's going through you guys. No doubt she's been ringing up going, oh, I've got this injunction, he's got these cameras. Bob, these cameras have not been switched on for 2 weeks. My camera, I've got 2 cameras, 90% of the time, and you can speak to John Bangs about this, and Graham Ambler going back 2 to 3 years with that Muircroft behaviour. My camera is on my back door. I've had people thieving stuff from my front garden. See, the house next door is a skip. Raj has a skip. For the 5 years that I've been living there's been skips, and that's been attracting the scrap metal guys. Pauline and Lisa watched these guys steal my wrought iron fencing that my old man made. And my old man is a good quality craftsman. He did Buckingham Palace. And they nicked it. The reason why I put this tree stuff there is because I cut down Raj's tree. It's the rubble from him. Yeah, alright, it's a bit untidy, but I've never had a clear summer without something going on where I can get stuff sorted out. It's just grossly unfair. The reason why it might look untidy now is she's had me on bail for 2 months all over the summertime. You know, it's just not on. She's been grinding me down over the last 18 months. She's made numerous times the police have come down here over the last 18 months. Numerous. And this is all because I found out what really went on with her cats. She lives in, the guys upstairs are sick of the smell of it. She asked me to, what I'm writing in this report right now, I'm working on this paragraph. In 2008, April the 27th, she asked me to record the tenant upstairs because the girlfriend was having sex with other blokes, and she wanted me to record it so she can give it to the police and the council to get them evicted.
Why would we evict someone just for having sex?
Well, this is what I'm saying to her. It's none of your business. You need to listen to the phone call. Now, this is very important, Bob. In the HENDON Magistrates criminal trial, the prosecutor was going, why did you put stuff on YouTube? Why didn't you email it to us? Well, as you can speak to the rest of staff, I did try to email it. I had to chop all stuff into 3 megabyte chunks because your servers can't handle it. I had to go to Gmail because I'm not very familiar with emails. I hate it. I never use it. I am good with computers, but the internet stuff, forget it. You know, I'm desperate to sell my products on the internet, my astronomy stuff, but nobody... Nanda Garasia should never have picked on me. And Graham Ambler knows all that, and I was getting it all sorted out, and then Graham disappears. And we're in this mess now because John Bangs were investigating Lisa, they've been moved off and I've been left right back at the bottom of the pyramid again. It's just not fair. They ignored my request to turn up at court as witnesses. Nobody turned up at court. I won the case. I represented myself. I was even arrested during that trial. But when they brought me back up, the magistrates could see the light of day. I was arrested during the trial because I got video of Lisa with the police parked on the pavement, which even her father in the criminal trial said parking on the pavement is illegal. She was parking on the pavement to harass us, to keep photographing evidence, which Councillor Joanna Tambordis told me to do, the ASBO team told me to do, the parking authorities told me to do. And she trumped the whole lot by complaining to the old Bill, oh, he's harassing me with this camera. Bob, she has not got a bad back. John Bang saw her in high heels carrying suitcases and on the mobile phone all at the same time. She does not have a bad back. I got a recording in 2008, the same one where she's going on about recording them upstairs. She's then going on about getting a driveway. And whenever she has a problem with the council, she keeps playing on the fact she's got a bad back. I've got it recorded. I put it on YouTube for my defence.
Yeah, irrespective of your problems with Lisa,
Yeah.
I'm not making any.
Bob, there wouldn't be anything on. Yeah,
that-
I understand. There wouldn't be anything on YouTube if the ASBO team had been treating me fairly and squarely, which Amanda Russell and John Bangs were doing. When that trial came up, they said, we'll give you all the complaints that Lisa has made against you. And then they go out of the picture, just suddenly, instantly gone. And that file was there, and the Reza staff told me that file was there, but she never handed it over. She went off on other little cases, and then she buggered off on holiday for a week. Left me completely in the lurch. Now, you know, if you're a professional person, you say you're going to do one thing, and you start slandering off and diverting it. That's why I lose my rag.
Yeah, but Martin, we can't have these videos on YouTube involving...
They're not videos. Have you been there and seen it? They're not videos. They're telephone calls with photographs of my astronomy.
Okay, they're telephone recordings. We can't have that with the housing officers.
Well, I'll tell you what. You can't keep going on about recording telephone calls. That magic word should be registered. And I had this out with Jeff Lustig when he had the police there recording it. Alright? Because the next day, they changed their messages to, oh no, instead of all calls are recorded, which is the issue with Nanda, it's now all calls may be recorded. But that's even more ambiguous, isn't it? I mean, this is a problem.
Standard, isn't it? I mean,
No, but that's the problem. It's an ambiguous. I've been on the phone to Cisco, and Cisco has said if you send us an email, we will take Barnet Council's phones away from them because they are misusing it. It should say all calls are registered, because we know it logs the time and date of the call, but when you say calls are recorded, we think we're being recorded. So when Nanda turned around and said, she's admitted this now, Bob, these words were designed to provoke a reaction, she's admitted. Honestly, I was nice and polite. I said, please can you tell me where, when and what it is you was talking about? And she said, you should know the offences took place because you are the offender. Now, it says all calls are recorded. I want that recording. And the very first judge, Judge Marin, Deborah Allday, a blonde woman, and Nanda, he said to them, literally he used these words, if Mr. Smith had told Nanda Grazia to fuck off, knowing full well he was recorded, she must have provoked him. Go back to the council and mediate, or bring the recording. Now, did Deborah Allday go back to her boss and say, the judge thinks Mr. Smith might be in the right? No, she didn't. Did Nanda go back to Edward and say, oh, Mr. Smith might be in the right, we need to present the tape? No, they didn't. And that's where we got to right. Well, because of that, we're here where we are now. And what's more, Philip Muircroft is mentally ill. I've still got 23 VHS recordings where he's abusing me, and that council and all of you guys just ignored it. I sent you all the transcripts. The transcript is in my housing file. He says he's going to lie to the judge on CCTV. And I'm really disgusted about the way that final day at court went. You robbed me of my trial.
We didn't rob you of anything.
Hey,
No,
I did not agree. We spent all day arguing in that corridor. We didn't agree nothing. I was furious.
You were legally represented.
Yeah, well, this is why I will never use a solicitor again, because he did not follow my instruction. The moment I turned up at that court, he turned around and said to me, this is just before I walked in through the front door. I met him on the staircase. He said, "Good news, you won't be going to prison. They're dropping the anti-Semitic charge." Bollocks. I want the judge to listen to exactly all those words I said, because those words that I said to that woman was exactly what Jeremy Paxman had said 2 nights before. He was doing one on the Jews where they're throwing rocks all over that wall they've built, and petrol bombs going over. It's the little kids that are doing it. It's tolerance breeds intolerance. And that woman, she'd only been in her job for 3 days, she told me. She didn't know where the files were, and that's training. I was right. Her training was rubbish. How did you become the PA, Chief Executive's PA? You don't know where the files are. And then she gave out personal information. Be careful what you say because I'm Jewish. Hang on a minute, I've got more important issues than that. And then she put the phone down, proving intolerance. And I'll stand by it today, Bob, because if we do go to court, I will play Deborah Allday to that courthouse, because I don't think the corporate government's got any right to prosecute me until those other 2 people that were with Deborah Allday are properly identified. I want to write a letter to the Law Society. And that's why I haven't and will never let go, because the Law Society have told me to keep with it. So has the Ministry of Justice.
Well, I'm certainly not prepared to go over old ground like that.
Well, you get me in that courtroom, you're going to find I'm going to represent myself, and I'm going to be starting with Deborah Allday. All the judge has got to do is listen to my recording for 1.5 minutes. And then if you guys want to continue prosecuting me, I'm going to ask the judge to get a different firm of solicitors to handle it. I think you lot are too involved. Why aren't you investigating Lisa before you come to me? Because Lisa is the one with multiple, repeated harassment complaints against every neighbour wherever she has lived. And she's told me all this, and I've been recording her ever since Deborah Allday. I've been recording every single phone call.
The problems involving the cameras and the stuff in the gardens do not just come from Lisa.
Well, this is it, isn't it? Before the trial, I got 11 petitions saying that Martin stays and Lisa goes. I win the trial, and now everyone around here thinks I'm a paedophile. It's because Lisa's gone around brainwashing everybody. All right? In 2 years ago, it was 2 years, 1 month, and 1 day before I got arrested. Lisa phones me up, and we had this very conversation. She starts, and I want to send it to you. If you can give me an email address that will accept a 20 megabyte file, I'll send you it. Right now, I'll send it to you. What you need is go to Gmail, open up a brand new Gmail account, just a temporary one. It will receive a 25 megabyte file. Don't use a council service, just get your hands on this file, Bob. Or if you want, I'll bring them down to you on a CD tomorrow. It's no problem. I am an open book. I have never ever had anything to hide. But you start questioning Lisa and you will realise she's full of shit. She always diverts the problem onto other people. The CCTV where she's parked on the pavement, this is at 3 o'clock in the morning with the police. Now, this is why the magistrates' courts have told me this will go to Crown. And I'm working on it right now, Bob. It's going to go to Crown because Lisa Mayer was out there with the police. She was slagging Raj off for parking in front of her house, slagging Raj's relatives off for parking in front of her house. Now, right now, she's convinced Raj that I'm a paedophile. Okay? But the point is this, them police officers entered into a conspiracy with Lisa. You can hear them clear as day. Lisa's saying, if I leave I know you can't do nothing about my car parked here because there are no parking restrictions. This is what I was dealing with Councillor Joanna Tamborides about. But Tamborides unequivocally told me, and it's on YouTube, that parking on the pavement is illegal. Now, Lisa, you see, you might not realise this, but she is what she calls psychic. And if you look at the way she's brainwashed everybody, them police officers left her car parked on the pavement. And they're nodding their heads in agreement to leave it there, so that I keep filming her, and that will build up a harassment charge. Now, what is a policeman's... Just let me finish here, please, Bob. What is a policeman's primary function? Uphold the law and keep the peace? Why didn't they tell Lisa, get your car off the pavement, and in that way it will keep the peace? And with that, we're going to go to Crown Court. The police were told this during my police interview. They ignored it. That's why the CPS are in trouble. The magistrates told me how to prosecute the CPS. And Lisa is running around hours later, within an hour of getting home, and I filmed her. Why does she do this? She's got a landline. Why does she come out in the street on her mobile phone in front of my camera, screaming down the phone, I don't understand how he got off the... And then every day, 4 times in one day, she had the filth on me. My injunction says this, Bob. It says, no, I am not to attend number 6, Westbrook Close. I am not to telephone her, and I am not to text her. And I am not to put anything up on YouTube. That's it. It doesn't say I have to take anything down. It doesn't say I can't walk up her garden path and visit the guy upstairs who borrows my lawnmower. It says I'm not to attend Westbrook Close. She's had the filth down here just because I crossed the road, go to see my mate over the road. She's telling all the neighbours he's not allowed him anywhere near my car. It's all bollocks. She's delusional. And she was never given the YouTube website, so she doesn't know what's going on. I filmed her going, look up Martin Smith. I'm not on YouTube, Bob. If you type my name, she's probably come across some paedophile. Right, her imagination, you've got to do a psychiatric... Look, I did a psychiatric report when Muircroft was taking me to court. It's about time you guys did one on her. Because I've got the recording on how... I'll end here. This is how she got moved in here. Wherever she was before, she was in temporary accommodation. She created havoc. They battery acided her car. Lisa got evicted. She ended up living in a caravan, where her husband, who she was separated from, got in contact with Brian Gordon, Michael Lester, who's now dead, who was very good friends with Margaret McPeak. And that's how Lisa got housed. She never went through the bidding procedures or anything like that. And then on video, and this is what came up in court, her father, I will end here, her father committed perjury. I spoke to Lisa's mother. I asked her, how come Lisa is causing all this havoc with people? And this is on camera, Bob. She said Lisa was housed there because she's got mental issues. Now, the court and the CPS and the police, all of them, they were notified that I need a VHS recorder. And the magistrates were fucking totally bewildered as to why that evidence wasn't there. Because if they'd had a tape recorder, Lisa's dad would be in prison right now for perjury. That's why it's going to go to a Crown Court. But to be honest with you, Bob, she pushed me to the point of suicide within 2 weeks after she had the old bill down here so much. I told Nereza staff, I had meetings to go to Nereza staff. I told her, she drowned me into the ground. I nearly committed suicide, Nereza staff. It's not fair that Nereza staff is taking her side of it now and not mine.
I don't quite follow what's going to the Crown Court, because your
what's going to the Crown Court? Well, the Crown Court is because you can't overturn a magistrate's decision. This injunction is wrong. The court staff have told me I should never have an injunction put on me. Oh, and by the way, Miss Duran, the CPS woman, she threatened me in that courthouse, and the guards are witnesses to it. She threatened me outside there when we came out of that courtroom, in the corridor. It's on the CCTV and they've got it. And I'm going to have her for it. She said that if we get a whisper out of Lisa, you breaking this, well, you're going to go to prison for 4 years. Alright? I said to her, don't you threaten me. You're just a CPS. If you want to threaten me, you get yourself a court order. Right? There you go. On CCTV in front of 2 security guards. We're going to now Miss Duran. Lisa should never have been issued that injunction. The injunction was issued because the CPS cannot be failed to lose a case. It was in the Barnet Press, Bob. They want 100% conviction ratings. Nanda Grazia turned me into a political animal, and that's what you're dealing with. You think I'm worried about what I've got on YouTube from the council. Have you been there? Have you listened to the police that are on YouTube? That's what you got to do. It's X-Ray Galileo 2112. Get your facts right before you start prosecuting me.
Well, I have listened to the recordings you've taken from housing officers. That's my only concern.
What about the one with Amanda Russell?
Yeah, I've listened to all of them.
Well, okay, so what's Amanda Russell saying? One, Lisa is being told to keep her car off the pavement, but it's obvious she keeps ignoring it. Two, it's apparent that Lisa is using that to cause me to whatever. You see, although she had me done under the 1997 Harassment Act, that was amended in 2001. It was a murder case. And my friend who works in the CPS studied that case to get into the CPS. A guy was hustling a guy to harass him, and that's what Lisa is going to get charged with. The 2001 Harassment Amendment. But the bottom line is, at the end of that Amanda Russell phone call, near the end, I tell her that I've got this new camera, and Amanda Russell says, "Oh, that's very good because it will help protect you against any false allegations." And that was the crux of the matter. I didn't really need Amanda Russell to turn up in court because that phone call, it's not derogatory against Amanda Russell at all. It's not derogatory against... See, your letter says abuse to Lisa Mayer. You haven't listened to the ones where she's abusing me or my girlfriend, or where she's talking about recording Jamie and Lucy having sex. That's abuse. She's also saying that Graham Ambler's told her how to get the blue badge through the back door of the council, not going through the front door. Right, that's what's on YouTube. Lisa Mayer's vindictive psychology is on YouTube. And the magistrate said, well, why is it on YouTube? I said, this courthouse convicts people. If I go to prison, my appeal lawyer can look at it and get me out. And they accepted that. It just says, I can't put anything more about Lisa. But you know how funny these legal documents are. You check this out, Bob. You're the only professional that I've told this to. It says the injunction starts on the 15th of the 8th, 2011. And in the court clerk's own handwriting, it expires on the 14th of the 8th, 2011. It's minus 1 day. So in legal speak, you can all shove your own heads up your own asses. Because if a professional like him can't write out a correct date, I see that as institutionally wangle-jangle gerrymandered. I've had dozens of police officers make statements where they're just misrepresenting full stops, spellings, names, even the allegations that were made against me. If you look at the charge sergeant's statement, he says, see, Lisa made repeated phone calls to the police. He's done a Freudian slip. And repeatedly he's done a Freudian slip. So I said to the magistrates, what's wrong with this police officer? He must have been drunk with either alcohol or overwork. Because he says, Lisa Mayer was arrested. Lisa Mayer makes repeated phone calls. Lisa Mayer was held in custody. Lisa Mayer was put in front of the magistrates, and Lisa Mayer was put on bail. That's the charge sergeant.
Yeah, not very impressive.
It's not very impressive at all. And then you had Nanda Grazer and Deborah Allday, and Judge Marin said, well, where's Nanda's statement? And then when I get Nanda's statement, it says, oh, I never knew Mr. Smith before. That's a lie. I looked into his housing file and I determined that he was mentally ill. So that's why I've been trying to find out who the hell Nanda really is. Apparently she was a telephone receptionist, got the job into Barnet Homes in April the 1st, 2004 as an ASBO officer. She then looked into my housing file and she determined that I was so she became a psychiatrist. And Graham Ambler's told me, no, that's wrong, no, that's wrong, no, she had no right to do that. Edward, sun shines out of Nanda's arse. Right wing, left wing. Fascism, non-fascism. All the non-fascists have been taken out of Barnet Homes. You've just left the fascists. And the other day, I don't know if you watched this, but Horizon documentary the other day, Are You Good or Are You Evil? It's now a confirmed fact that all these top lawyers, all these executives, 85 to 90% of them are classified as psychotics. They walk all over people and they don't care about the consequences. I told you, I'm a political animal now. I've spent all my life trying to understand why people pick on me. And it's because I'm more intelligent than them, the CPS, the police, and even psychiatrists. Don't forget, the old Bill had me locked up to see the forensic psychiatrist. Yet he got me out earlier than anyone ever else. When you go on the 28-day section, you're in. Not me. And that's in my housing record, because when I was living on the streets, I needed to put that in a safe place. That's why it's in my housing file. It looks like, oh, he was in trouble with the police. That's all the council look at. They don't understand, or they don't look into what's going on there. Darren Davis is a drug dealing police supergrass who was dealing LSD and ecstasy to the kids outside Sainsbury's in 1994. I grassed him up to his parents because his parents are actually bank robbers. And it's Darren's mother who started these safe havens for battered prostitutes way back in the 60s that has now grown into these domestic violence units. They know Tina Ward. Protected by the Royal Courts of Justice bullshit bollocks. Yeah, and Tina Ward drove a bulldozer through my brother. She had no right to tell my brother's wife, you don't have to wash his socks, you don't have to wash his clothes. And my brother's wife is not the only woman that's told me this. You don't have to feed the kids, you don't have to cook, you don't have to do any housework. You don't have to sleep with him, you don't have to have sex. Now Tina Ward, as I understand it, was financed by Barnet Homes, independent contractor. My brother worked for Barnet Homes, he was a caretaker. They destroyed Article 8 of his human rights. He was the gold standard. What Cameron and everybody, every politician, every police officer says, the gold standard is where children being brought up by parents that are in gainful employment, unsupported by the state, apart from child support. But no, Barnet Holmes' nasty, vindictive, right-wing rulebook nailed him to the ground. My brother's wife did not want him prosecuted. Now, you listen to that police officer on YouTube, right? I'll tell you his name, Sergeant Mark Blundell. 38 years experience. Only men get prosecuted. Go and have a listen to it. It is my intention, Bob, to bring Hendon Magistrates Courts to its knees for what they did and what they're doing. I'm not kidding you, it's a political issue. And it's the same with Barnet Council. And I'll just end here. That guy who's been done for the riots in Wandsworth, his mum, he's saying, no, it's nothing to do with my mum and dad, that the council's going to evict. That woman's saying fascism. Conservative Wandsworth fascists. That's what goes on at Barnet. But not only with Barnet, they've been in power so long, it's developed into a complete psychosis. How dare Tracy Lees go into Margaret McPeak's job on the Barnet Press and say she's going to continue the good, solid legacy left behind by Margaret McPeak, when the ASBO team are going around picking on people like me, classified and housed under mental health protection. That's what's going on. Tom Mahoney and his lawyers are going to have a field day with you. Don't you worry, because I'm supposed to be protected, and all you've done is abuse me. When all those 15, 18 years I was on the street, trouble free. But since I've become a council tenant, I've never been pushed to more destruction. I just want to top myself, to be honest with you. I've had enough. And if you think that, you know, I'll wait and you can absorb, take a bit of time to absorb it, but I'll tell you what, the moment you start your court papers, I don't care if you put me in jail or whatever, my data is no longer at this house. There are people just waiting for Lisa to burn her fuse. Right, and these are people that have had dealings with her in the past. They fucking hate her. There'll be a lot more than Barnet Council going up on YouTube, I promise you. And I know, and there ain't a court, and I told the magistrates this in the criminal trial. No one is ever going to bring that down, ever. And that's it. Lisa's father can start paying me £1,000 a video, and I'll get it. You cough up some compensation for Deborah Allday, and you got my respect. Why not? Lisa May has been compensated dozens of times. She's told me so, and I've got the phone recordings. And I'm going to do a Freedom of Information Act request. How many people have committed suicide after Barnet Council has got involved in their lives? Because I'll tell you what, Bob, since I moved in here, I know of 3 people that have done it, and one of them's my brother. There was a woman down the road here when Murakov was taking me to court. I think it was the same month when we ended. She hung herself just down the road here in her garage. Why? Because social services were fucking around with her. Historically, you are the Gestapo because since 1979 you've been blocking off all the entrances for the gypsies. And on it was May the 27th 2009, Brian Coleman was on the Politics show and the Late Night Tonight Evening show on a Sunday, all proud as could be about Barnet Council being the only borough council in the entire country that has eliminated all land use for the travelling gypsy public. Now, excuse me, didn't we learn anything about multiculturalism and what happened in World War I and II? And in fact, about 8 months ago, the police were instructed, under the Discrimination Act, they've been instructed to include the culture of the travelling gypsy people. And it is Barnet Council, the only borough in the whole land that has evicted them. What are you going to do if you run the whole country? Push them out into the ocean?
I'm still struggling to see what this has got to do with your having structures and cameras in your garden.
Well, the structures are there because Pauline and Lisa watched these guys take away my metal fencing. No one has been off my back. It should be over. See, 2 years ago they came down and photographed it. I said I've planted ivy. In a year or two, we're on the 2nd year now. I should have been nurturing that, because it'll be all covered in ivory by now. But because she had me on bail all over the summer, alright, she could have done that last year, the year before. But she fucked me, and then she made it not possible for me to cut my own garden lawn. And then halfway while I was on bail, I got this letter from the planning people. It's Tas Almac. Now, this is it, Bob. Are you fully up to date? Because Tas Almac wrote me this letter saying unsafe structure, or whatever it is, on the front and rear of my gardens. Now, no one has been complaining. Why now? Why in the middle of my bail? So I had to ring him up and say, look, if I get imprisoned, I'll be evicted. Wait till after the trial. After the trial, Lisa was hounding me to the old bill, but I still managed to contact him. I said, look, let's rearrange the meet. So he arranged the meet for the following Wednesday. I waited. He didn't turn up. It got to 1 o'clock. Oh, he's at lunch. It got to 2 o'clock. Oh, he's still not back yet. It got to 3:30. He's on leave for the week. So he's booked a meeting and then on a Wednesday when he's going to be on leave all that week. Now, that's what I'm going to be putting on YouTube. The total incompetence of what is really going on. These blocks that they've got on me. See, my relationship with Almac was fine. And now Lisa's going on, and now that triggered a response where whenever I ring the council, I get this negative attitude. And this is it. With the file that Nereza staff said that I could have, Amanda Russell and John Banks, I went to the room number 6 to collect it. But I'll tell you what, Bob, this has got to stop. That counter at Barnet Homes level 2, there were 6 people there. They were glued to those computers like robots. I'm not kidding you. I kicked up a bit of a stink and it's on the CCTV. Yet they were still ignoring me because they were glued to those computers. The queue of people was building up and up and up. And then when I did get into room number 6, that woman, and Amanda Russell knows I've got the right to complain about that woman, 50, 60 years old. She goes, what's your name? What's your address? And the moment I popped up, all those little black and red dot flags that started with Nanda Grazia pop up, and then I could see it up and down like they were flaring up. She was reading the news of the world on me. And I'm going, oh yeah, can we just concentrate on what I'm here for now? I want this file. She's telling me, shut up, I'm reading. That is abuse. That is a criminal record that's being used against me, and it shouldn't even be there, Bob, by Nanda Grazia, and that's why I'm going to prosecute the hell out of Barnet Homes. I'm not kidding you. Even Edward, he was in my living room a week before Lisa got me arrested. He's in my living room with John Banks, and I recorded it, and they agreed to be recorded. He's told me, let's go for mediation. I'm saying, look, that happened with Muircroft. I want the mediation. What are you going to do if Lisa refuses mediation? Start prosecuting me? Now, Edward Wichhausen is going to go on YouTube. He's in my living room, not more than, 2 months ago now, 3 months ago, telling me, mediate. It's down to Lisa to mediate, but she won't mediate, will she? She's been using the old bill all the time. Right, when you got a complaint against your neighbour, aren't you supposed to mediate first before you go straight to court? And that is why you ain't going to stand a chance with me, because you know, and Deborah Allday knows, and everyone knows, and even this court, this criminal court said, this should have been mediated over. The second you start spending any money on this, Bob, I'm on to the Law Society. You're wasting it. You're better off giving me £1,000 so I can build a proper shed. Get these wankers off my back.
You're saying you're happy to go to mediation?
Of course I am, yeah. Edward says so himself. It's going to be Lisa who refuses it. Just like Muircroft. Why? Because I'll tell you what I wanted to mediate over before we got arrested. It's the condition of those animals that are in her house. And that council tenancy being used as a sewage depot. That's what's going on, Bob. I don't want to be derogatory.
If you go to mediation,
yeah,
it can't just be a one-way street. She has every right for you to have to listen.
Yeah, right, okay, well, Bob, if you go to that YouTube site and you listen to the one that's labelled, I don't want CCTV camera. I'll be honest with you, it's in 3 sections, I'm not sure if all 3 sections are there, but if you can open up your file, or, better still, Bob, I'll be totally honest with you, get in your car now and come to my house. I can't be any more open than that. You can pick and choose what file. Just come here for 1.5 hours and listen to 3 phone calls. That's it. You want a true perspective on what she's all about, that's what you do. I mean, this conversation we're having now, I know it's all me doing the talking. You'll never get a conversation like this out of her. With her, it's all slander and innuendos. I can't believe that Raj, whose house I've been decorating, they asked me to educate the kids in ways that the schools would never... Can you teach my kids the things they'll never learn at school? And I've got it recorded, even from 2 years ago. Right, now, she's got them running around calling me a paedophile. How the fuck did she do that? Raj made a statement to the police, Lisa is lying, Lisa is lying. For that 2 months I was on bail, I was living here. I was here all the time. I was videoing her with Raj. I phoned him up. Why are you talking to Lisa? Don't worry, I'm on your side. I win the case and now everyone's against me. What's going on? Like I said, maybe she implants these magic psychic words and she's an expert at that sort of behaviour. Because I used to work for people like Uri Geller, and that Paul, whatever his name is, the one that goes on Channel 4 a lot. I know him very, very well. I make those watches that start and stop. They're not done by the mind. They're a trick. They're a magnetic trick. I can build you one if you want, Bob. A watch that stops and starts under your command. It's only £3 worth of components.
Yeah, I've seen them.
The main difficulty, you haven't seen them, mate, because there's no copy. You can't buy them. You might have seen a trick, yeah, because they were shown a lot on Channel 5. Those were my watches. If you saw them on Channel 5, when they first opened that channel, they used to have little musicians doing 5-minute slots. Well, those were my watches and clocks. You know, I know these people. I understand psychology. Honestly, I spent my entire life since I was a kid. Why do these police officers pick on me? Why? Because I stood out at school as the intelligent one. I'm not kidding you. That Jardine used to be a truancy officer. To cut a long story short, he used to pick on me. When I was 17, I saw him walking down Union Street following 2 little boys. But he wasn't on the pavement. He was in the middle of the road, ducking behind the cars. So I got to that call box by Barnet Church and I phoned 999. I said, there's some man in a long black coat with a black cap following these children. Bang, in they went, 3 Panda cars, and they got him. I stood on the corner, it was so funny. His face was beetroot red and black ashen grey at the same time. And I've never seen Jardine since. And then Scotland Yard stops police officers going out on their own. But now the Conservatives are back in, bang, they've gone and done it again. They put them back out on their own. You're going to have coppers following kids again. Jardine was a nonce. Just because he was in a policeman's uniform, he kept following little kids around, scaring the shit out of them. He had his hands on my bollocks when I was fucking 12 years old. You ask Sheila. There was a local neighbourhood cop here, Sheila. She was in my back garden, in front of my CCTV, in front of Tom Mahoney, my psychiatric homeless person key worker. And I told her this story. It's all going on camera. You want to see her face, and you want to hear what she's saying. She actually said, "You've got the best long-term eyewitness memory I've ever come across in my 28-year career. All those crime files, that's my psychotic illness. It's the police threatening to kill me. And I've never had the time settled down here where I can bring that case against DS Nicky Woods, because I've got the fucking tape. I've got it."
Anyway, what I'm going to do now is go back to Nerissa and tell her that you're prepared to attend a mediation appointment.
When she first took over, she said that she wants to work with me. After 2.5, 3 weeks, and then she buggers off on holiday, she's obviously pissing around. Alright? So that's my attitude. If a professional...
Everyone's entitled to a holiday. Come on.
No. Yeah, I absolutely agree there. Yeah, I do. Honestly, I absolutely agree there. But at the same time, she should have just handed it back to Amanda Russell and John Bangs for another week. Do you understand? Their work was not complete. Nerissa staff came on board saying that she was going to finish off Amanda and John's work. And then we start prosecuting Lisa, because she's the harasser. You look at John, you go and speak to John Bangs and Amanda Russell, and you ask them for their honest opinion about me. Amanda Russell, she said, when I first started getting involved in Amanda Russell, I will end here, Bob, 'cause I know it's been a long time. Thank you for calling me. Amanda Russell said to me when I first started getting involved with her that I was only having a go at Nanda because she was black. Right, and that's not the case at all. When Amanda Russell came in my living room, she looked around and the first thing she said was, "Why aren't you teaching people?" I am. That JCOS school, I went to their open meeting. At first, I am absolutely, this is me, Bob, this is me, I am absolutely against faith school education. They brainwash kids. I went to the open meeting. That headmaster, and I think Ben Rich is now gone, I'm disgusted about that, but he said to us in the audience, our school is not liked by our own community because we are not going to be teaching creationism. We're going to be based on modern technology and the sciences of the day. They've got my respect 1,000 million %. They then had a science meeting. I mean, perhaps, Bob, you can contact this guy. I think his name is Stephen Martin, or Martin Smith. He's the science political guy for the Borough of Barnet. He did some lectures at the school. I went to them. His experiments didn't work properly. I helped him out. And at the end of it, Hayley Follett, I asked her, could I do some cosmology lectures? She said yes. Now, I've had people on my back. But if you come and read my diary, I've got all the drawings worked out in my diary. I've been buying stuff at charity shops like Scale Electrics. I can explain Einstein's time dilation theories using 2 cars on a Scale Electric. And I really do passionately want to do those cosmology lectures at that school. Or at the Old Ball Arts Centre. Or somewhere. And I was really on that path, but I knew, because Lisa's been calling the old bill on me now for 18 months. It's not just this, she's been on it a long time. And don't forget, she told the court, the criminal court, that the day I moved in, I got her to say this, because it's true. The second she saw me moving in, she and Pauline ran the council saying that I was a squatter moving in. And then when they saw my African key worker carried a telescope, Damie, from Notting Hill Housing, she rang them up again and the police and said it can't be right, there's a man going to be moving in next to a school with kids with a telescope. She's been on me just by the way I look since day one. And there you go. Bob, please, take a serious look and get a psychological analysis done on Lisa. She had her children taken away from her because she's got a personality disorder. She then goes into an anti-Semitic rant concerning what it's like being a Jew within the order of being Jewish, but not being Jewish. That did not have a private block on it at the time I went to the trial. I've had a very odd phone call. I don't want the Israeli Mossad onto me, so I've put a private block on that file. That's the one that I'm prepared to send you the link and you listen to her. She says to me, I would never believe the stories of corruption in the justice system that you, Martin, go on about until they had me in court. The CPS and the police made all my friends and my parents testify in court that I've got a personality disorder, and that's how she lost her children. Her own parents told the court she's got a personality disorder. And from the information, another source of information, not from Lisa, another source tells me the Jewish Society just took them straight to Israel. And it was because the two husbands were emotionally and physically abusing the children, and Lisa lost the kids because she couldn't stop that happening. She was too much under... She neglected the children because the boyfriends were fucking in control. That's what it was. And that, where she's telling me that, has got a block on the YouTube, but it's on YouTube. She doesn't know it. I've got 357 phone calls recorded on my landline only of Lisa Mayer since 2008. That's at least one phone call from her every 2 or 3 days. Isn't that harassing? Can you do my fish tank? Can you do the cats? Can you clear the path of snow? You want to hear that one? Clear the path of snow. Can you help out? Help who, Lisa? In other words, she's saying, oh, it's because Sydney the old boy can't get out and I've got a bad back. So she only wants it for herself. And in reality, she wants me to clear the whole road so she can get her car out. Listen to it, it's on YouTube. If that isn't harassment, Bob, I don't know what the fuck is. Anyway, look, have some time to absorb it. I want to mediate. I know I'm within my rights to have these cameras. I know my structure is a little bit too high. Tas Almac, I invited him down. I want to comply with his original letter. I invited him down because I don't know what the boundaries are. I'll just end here and I promise you this is it. The house next door, number 2, it's been built right up onto the council's boundary. She's got a row of conifer trees. They're now overflowing onto my garden path, council property, and the roots of those trees are demolishing the sewage drain. Okay, that's for starters.
Have you reported that?
Yeah, I have. But what's happened is, you guys, they're turning it all into allegations that I'm a multiple complainant. I promise you, Bob, last Sunday, now this is reported, and there has been a workman here, but I wasn't in. I didn't know they were coming. They going on about unsafe structure with me. Sunday last, not just now, but Sunday last week, I went out for 10 minutes, and when I came back, the corner roof tile had come off and landed on the pavement. It had smashed on the pavement. You know, the tiles on our roofs are all loose. The squirrels have got in there, and the snow cracked all the walls along there are cracked with snow. I had a different inspector coming down because I'm prepared to repair my own wall. I don't mind that, but he needs to look at all the other walls as well, because Lisa and her boyfriend, for the first time ever, were sitting on her wall. And it's wobbling about and all that bollocks, yeah? If a little kid was to get on that wall and it collapses, they're going to hurt themselves. And it was the snow getting through the cement. You see, Bob, I will end it. I am very observant. If an old person doesn't collect their milk bottle, I knock on the door and ask them if they're all right. And when I was in temporary accommodation, just before I moved in here, Mary, 83 years old, she didn't collect her newspaper. I knocked on the door. I phoned 999. The filth turned up. They used my tools to take her windows out. And when they got in her house, she'd fallen off of her bed. She was trapped down the side of the wall. And he had them Economy 7 from the 70s, those brick radiators, they heat up. She'd been trapped there since 2:30 in the morning. And it's now 3:45 the next day. And those cops said, you definitely saved... She was cooked, but I saved her life. Right, and then when I move, I get Nancy Nanda Grazia picking on me as if I'm a fucking nobody. Sydney, Sydney, the guy who lives in 5A, I've saved his life over Christmas 3 times. The police, we had to kick the door in. The police, because the police couldn't get their own police car in our street because of the snow, they were going to be there for 10 hours waiting for the new locksmith to come and repair the door. No, I did it. We went into my garden, we found bits of wood, we found my tools, and I repaired the door for the police, so that they didn't have to stand there all day in the bloody snow. You are a double top man. And then I let them have it, what Tina Ward and Barnett Holmes did to my brother. Because that's what I do. Every police officer, even before Lisa got me arrested, there are cops in my living room. They're looking at her on the CCTV. They're saying, you are a double top man for having CCTV that can protect your neighbours for antisocial behaviour, burglaries and stuff like that. And that Lisa is defaming my character. Now, I'll be honest with you, this little spy cam, the data gets a little bit corrupted. It will go on, it will copy on from computer to computer, but the YouTube analyses the data, it won't let it go up. I've had a problem with that one. It's in 2 halves, cops in my house. But they're literally looking at my setup in my living room saying, you are fucking brilliant, you built that yourself. It's not that I'm targeting Lisa, she is, I'm targeting her because the DHSS told me, the Blue Badge people told me, Councillor Tambori says photographic evidence is required, etc, etc. And yet the moment Lisa got me put on bail, she stopped parking on the pavement. Anyway, we'll end there, Bob. Please, let's just sit down media, but you've got to realise, you've got a psychotic on your hands. She needs a forensic analysis done on her, I promise you.
Okay, I'll get on to Naressa and we'll see about...
Thank you very, very much for listening.
Yeah,